Yes, there is a new jockey trick in FC24 that is going to blow your mind. No, seriously. But what is it and how is it different from the normal jockey and the running jockey? To better understand the technique, first we have to recap the existing jockey techniques. We have the normal jockey, which is only L2. It is slower compared to the running jockey, but it allows you to have more control over your defender. Then we have the running jockey, which is L2 plus R2. It is faster but lacks control. Lastly, we have the gas and brake technique, where you use the R2 to get close, let go of the R2 and hold L2. Basically, you think of L2 as the brake and R2 as the accelerator. R2 allows you to close the distance, L2 allows you for more control when you are near the defender. And I have been advocating for this technique since years. However, we have a new jockey technique that allows us to combine all these three techniques into one master jockey trick. Now, I didn't invent this jockey trick. I was watching Tom's video and he showed it. I was very fascinated by it and went to try it out myself. By the way, I'll link Tom's video in the description below. So he agrees that running jockey is simply too fast and allows for much lesser control in 1v1 situations where gas and brake can be clumsy at times. So what is the solution? We are going to turn on analog sprint. Yes, analog sprint allows us to control our sprint speed. The less pressure we apply on the R2 button, the more control we will have on the sprint. Now this means we can control the pace of our jockey. Here I am pressing in about 65 to 70% and I have way more control compared to the speed jockey. As well as I have enough pace to keep up with the opponent. Now you might think, wow, that's cool, that is it. But no, we still have to use the other jockey tricks and I am going to show you in the following examples. I am going to give you a live walkthrough of how to use these techniques in game. So we are playing a pro over here. We're going to use this technique. Try to mark his passes. Use the analog sprint running jockey to cut out the passing lanes. Once passing lanes are cut out, that is when we go for the ball like over there with Ronaldo. We have too much control over our jockey. Thanks, Tom. You can see. But like when we need to slow down and have more control, that is when we are going to use analog sprint. And we'll apply pressure on the R2 button depending on how close the opponent is. When he is too close, we'll apply very less pressure on the R2. We want to control the speed as much as possible, okay? See, slow, gentle, and we get the ball. But before we continue, guys, I have to tell you another thing about jockeying. If you have been watching my channel since a while, you will know that I always say to move the left stick gently when we are dribbling. And you cannot move it to a point where you hear these sounds, clicking sounds. And the same concept applies to jockeying. On Van Dijk and forget Sancho. See how stuck he felt over there? You know why he felt stuck? See again, this is what I see in most people's gameplay when I am coaching. Their defenders feel static and stuck. Now the fix to this is same. You have to move the left stick in circular motions while making sure that you are very gentle on the left stick. You cannot abuse the left stick and smash it. You need to be very gentle with it. If you want your jockey to feel more agile with any defender, then this is the technique you need to master. Even if you are using the new analog sprint jockey, you still have to combine it with moving the left stick gently. You can see now we can control the pace and we can react and we can do everything very gently. Now I know you will say the connection isn't same in the game, but we are focusing on what we can control right now. And this is indeed the way to improve jockeying. And this is how you're going to make your defenders feel more agile. Back to the gameplay. Like I always say, there isn't one definitive way to defend on FC24. It isn't to say that analog sprint jockey is better than running jockey or the gas and brake is better than the other trick. You always have to have situational awareness. And that is why these following clips are so important for you. Before we carry on, guys, I would really appreciate if you can hit that like button. I literally spent half of my day recording this video. So here with Rivaldo, you can see I am moving with the sprint button very gently, right? It allows me to control the sprint. The R2 literally becomes like an accelerator. The harder you press it, the harder your player will run. However, it gives us more control, but it also comes with a con. Sometimes we are used to of just always holding the button, right? So we have to take some time to get used to it. Otherwise, we will be sprinting like headless chickens up and down the pitch and we won't be able to defend properly. So, in order to defend properly with this, first you have to get the feel of it. Once you have the feel of it, you need to have situational awareness, because there are situations where you have to still use running jockey and gas and brake technique as well. Like I said, as you can see on the controller, we are using every technique possible, because when I am very close, I want to use L2. When there is gap, I want to use sprint only. When there is a 1v1 situation and the opponent is dribbling and doing skill moves, that is when I will be gentle on the R2 and use analog sprint jockey. However, remember, analog sprint is also active in your attack. So if you want to sprint to the maximum speed, you have to hold the R2 button fully down in the attack. Otherwise, your attack will be compromised. The second man pressure is something you still want to do. As you saw here with Van Dijk, I was running. Now I slowed down. As you can see, I am too close to this Rodrigo over here. So in such situations, I still like total control without any sprint interference. That is why I let go of R2 and hold L2. It gives me the maximum control over my player, allows me to be more confident in my 1v1 ability, because I have predicted where he going to go. If he was dribbling or skilling, in that scenario, I would hold the sprint button and use the analog sprint jockey. And eventually we are going to force him out of play. Defending isn't all about winning the ball back. Even if you force the player out of play or you force him to recycle the ball, that is a win-win situation for you. Look at this example. Like I said, playing against a pro, it gives us so much control in 1v1 defending. You saw how with Blanc, I went over there to get the ball back from Mbappe. In this situation, I am lightly pressing the R2 button. I wish I could show you how much pressure I was applying, but if I am to tell you, I was just holding it slightly. I wasn't pushing it at all. And that allowed me to still be more quicker compared to normal L2 jockey, but at the same time, I was able to have a lot of control and get the ball back from Mbappe. He moved and I reacted. I was able to react to his dribbles while doing analog sprint jockey. And again, you will see here against Pele with Laudrup, I am using gas and brake, analog sprint jockey, and I'm able to react to the movements of Pele rather quickly. It wouldn't be possible without using this trick. It is very good trick to use and we have to master it seriously. Here is a tricky situation, but once again, this positioning of our defender allowed us to win the ball back, auto tackle, but it was the way we positioned our defender. See again, Laudrup versus Pele, I'm able to get in and get the ball back so easily. But one more thing I want you to be mindful of is that, guys, you still need to use the tackle button. You still need to use the advanced defending button. One more thing I want to address in this video is this. People are not using advanced defending. Even if you master all these techniques and you don't use advanced defending and you don't know when to use the shoulder push, you're not going to be very successful. Although you don't need to tackle all the time, especially if you're good with positioning and jockey, there are still situations where you do need to tackle the ball. When the opponent takes a loose touch, go for that tackle. Because in previous years of this game, guys, what used to happen was the auto tackling reach with the jockey was insane. That still exists, but it has narrowed down a lot. So sometimes you have to go with the manual tackle or the X button, which is why I recommend you to watch this defending guide here and master positioning as well.